Ahead of the International Women's Day, Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center will be leading over 500 women and community group on a walk to demand the reinstatement of Lagos State guidelines on safety termination of pregnancies. According to the group, there is an increase in a number of rape and incest cases that led to pregnancy. By law, these victims are unable to access safe abortion services since the guidelines were revoked after religious outcry. International Women's Day is celebrated every year on the 8th of March. The theme for this year is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Joining me now in the studio to talk on the maternal mortality rate in Nigeria is the Executive Director, Reproductive Justice Initiative Foundation, Olasupo Bada. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
So what's your observation? Because you have talked about the incest and rape cases that were not taken into consideration. But what's your observation of the implication of the suspension of that particular bill or law on maternal health in the country?
Well, the first thing is to say that the reason for the suspension is very obvious. The guidelines came at a time when election was around the corner. And so, for obvious and political reasons. But having said that, if you look at the abomination, the incest, for example, it's on the increase. Now, a father sleeping with the daughter. Now, what do you do to that pregnancy or pregnancy resulting from it? Not even rape. Sometimes it is defilement. Because some of these girls are even underage. So it is defilement. So you are expecting that society should keep that pregnancy. Now, let me make a point here that nobody is advocating legalizing abortion. Nobody in his right sense within a cultural setting. We ask the government to say, oh, legalize abortion. No. We are only talking about safe abortion. As our law, as of today, the state of the law is that unless the life of the woman is in danger, unless the life of the woman that is carrying the pregnancy is in danger. Apart from that, you cannot procure, you cannot approach, you cannot access any facility. So if a father, there's a particular case in January in Oyo State, where the father and the son slept with the daughter's sister, the same person, resulting in pregnancy for about 3 years. Now the baby is 2 years. So what happened to, so when you put the questions to, if you ask an individual on the street, a common one will say, no, don't do it. But if you now say, oh, let us assume that it's in your family, the response is going to be very clear. Look, you don't keep that kind of thing. It's an abomination.
But let me ask you, this is a very controversial issue, and you have mentioned, you see how it is in the U.S. as well, where some states are for, and some states are against, and it has become even an election matter. But when you look at this, and you have mentioned earlier, it was because of religious outcry. Yeah. And so how do you then balance what your request, which is to lift that suspension, with the religious beliefs of the people, which majority of people in Nigeria are quite religious, whether in one way or the other? Well,
that is part of what we are going to do tomorrow, advocacy. Let people be, what is the effect? I think the first thing is to find out, does it have any effect on the mortality rate? Because if you do not allow people to have access to this facility, we are not talking of free-for-all abortion now. We are talking of cases where the life of the woman is in danger, one, where it's a case of incest. Do you advise that such a pregnancy should be kept? Incest, a father sleeping with the daughter. So what do? Or rape. So unless you educate people, people can come from sentimental side and say, oh, look, it's not allowed. But just like Nicodemus, in the night, you see them. So your caveat is rape and incest. Oh, for now, let's limit it to that.
But some people will say, because you talked about when the woman's life is in danger.
That's the law.
Some will say that's ambiguous, and that's something that you can already exploit. You don't need to go on a walk. It's like saying when lawmakers say gross misconduct, without any specifics. So when a woman's life is in danger, it's also very ambiguous, and you can already exploit that without having to do this work.
It is. The law will assume that it's going to be an objective test. But it's left to the doctor to determine if the life of, or the medical officer, to determine if the life of a woman, so the woman does not even have a choice. So the woman may say, look, my life is not in danger, but what about my physical and mental well-being? How will I carry that pregnancy through? I mean, that's a torture enough. I mean, the one I told you that happened in Oyo State, after, the lady was asking, I mean, where would the baby go to? It has to take the government to intervene to take the baby. What about the girl? The girl. I'm talking of the girl that gave birth.
Well, we're looking forward to your engagement with the Lagos State government and what that will result, the results you will get from that. Thank you so much for your time. The Executive Director, Reproductive Justice Initiative Foundation, Olashopo Bada.
It's my pleasure.